Don't settle for bad socks. Get comfort and grip at an affordable price with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Choose from 18 different colors at puregripsocks.com.
Tiempo or Copa? What are the differences between them, and perhaps more importantly, which one should you pick? The Nike Tiempo Legend 9 Elite at full retail will run you $230, which is by no means inexpensive, but in comparison to Nike's other top-end models, it is the most affordable option. Where the Adidas Copa Pure.1, again at full retail, also goes for $230. So in terms of a pricing difference between them, there really isn't one. It's also worth noting that Adidas does offer the Copa Pure Plus, which retails for $280. However, it features a laceless upper design that really doesn't compare all that much to the Tiempo or the Pure.1. It's kind of its own thing, and if you're into laceless boots, there's a lot to like about it. However, we won't really talk about it in this comparison. Both of which, by the way, you can get below their normal retail prices by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the links down below. Kangaroo leather, cow leather. That's going to be the main talking point between these two football boots. However, I'm going to come out and say something pretty controversial here. The cow leather featured on the Copas is actually softer than the kangaroo leather featured on the Tiempos. From a quality perspective, this cow leather is pretty much as soft as you're going to find from any top-end pair of leather football boots. However, the leather itself is very, very thin, much more so than what you're going to find from the Tiempos, and you also get less of it, with the leather pretty much spanning the entire forefoot and toe box area, and then cutting off right around here on the medial side. Everything from the forefoot back is made from a mesh-based material, blending together in what Adidas calls fusion skin, a technology we've seen on the Copa series for a number of years now. Nonetheless, it feels really good. The entire upper is super soft, but again, it is on the thinner side. So if you're looking for something that has a little bit more of that speed boot vibe, rather than something that is a little more heavily padded, even offering protection, there's really not much in the way of protection to be had here. This is a leather pair of football boots with more of a barefoot sensation. Where the Tiempo with its kangaroo leather upper, not just because the leather is actually thicker overall, but also because of the fact that there are memory foam inserts running throughout pretty much the entire upper itself, makes for a much more padded, arguably more traditional feel with that little bit of a dampened sensation from those memory foam inserts that actually do a really nice job of not taking away from that classic leather feel. From a softness perspective, I would say these are arguably more consistently soft and padded all the way through. You also get significantly more leather on the Tiempos compared to the Copa Pure.1, and that the leather runs through the entirety of the midfoot, basically up to the heel on the medial side, and then covers the majority of the lateral side as well, with the Nike Swoosh and Synthetic actually acting as more of a stiffener or structure element for the upper to make the boots in general feel more secure. In terms of consistency of leather feel, the Tiempo definitely does a better job, and again, if protection or having more of a padded feel is what you're after, the Tiempos over the Copas should be the choice you should make. Something I love about the design of the Pure.1 is the standard U-throat construction and standalone tongue with a central lacing system. This makes putting the boots on and taking them off significantly easier than the average football boot with an enclosed one-piece upper, and in general allows for plenty of adjustability. The low-cut design, of course, is standardized with the Copa models. The heel has been extended ever so slightly, and then the heel liner itself features this really nice soft microfiber material, but more targeted cushioning that is really spongy and kind of on the thinner side, where I don't think it has as much padding through the heel as many people would like. Despite that though, the comfort and lockdown is still great. It's just a little bit less traditional than what they've done across the top of the foot. Where the Tiempos are kind of the opposite. It features more of an enclosed one-piece construction where there is a separate material for the tongue. However, it's fixed on either side, so it can't actually open up. However, the lacing system does run a little bit deeper and still provides really good adjustability. So while I would have preferred the Tiempo to have a standard tongue, kind of like the Pure.1, I think what Nike have done here is still really good. More of a standard traditional low-cut construction, and the heel liner is pretty much the best in the business in my opinion. Soft microfiber lining, consistent padding all the way through, great lockdown, softness, and comfort. Nothing to complain about here whatsoever. When it comes to sole plates and stud patterns, I think what Nike have done on the latest generation of Tiempo is the most speed boot-esque that we've ever seen on this line, in that it's a relatively thin plastic, has plenty of flexibility, in general feels very low profile underfoot, and the stud pattern is more or less classic Tiempo, bladed studs in the heel, conical studs in the forefoot, a little chevron Mercurio-esque stud at the tip of the toe, but really providing that nice blend of aggressive traction as well as that freedom to twist and pivot. To me, one of the best all-around FG stud patterns currently on the market, and like I said, the sole plate feels nice and low profile. Where the Copa Pure.1 recycles the torsion frame sole plate originally introduced back in 2017 on the original Adidas Nemesis. There's really no issue with that, and you could make an argument that this is the best sole plate we've ever had on a modern Copa boot since the Copa 19. However, it does feel a little bit bulkier in comparison to what the Tiempo has done, which does increase the weight of the boot. We'll see that in just a second. And as far as the FG stud pattern is concerned, this kind of half blade, half circle stud shape that you have throughout the entire upper kind of provides a similar feel to that of the Tiempo, but I would say actually a little bit less aggressive for whatever reason. It just doesn't have the same balance as the Tiempos, and if you're asking me which sole plate stud pattern is better, I'd pick what Nike has done over what we have here from the three stripes. And then there's the weight, both in the same size 9.5 US. I'm going to weigh them on this scale in real time, starting off with the Copas. You can see that they weigh in at 8.05 ounces, the equivalent of 228 grams. Change the scale back to ounces and we'll throw on the Tiempos, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.45 ounces, the equivalent of 211 grams. How important is that half an ounce weight difference? I guess that's something for you to decide. Some people are more sensitive to weight than others, but when it really does come down to it, the Tiempos do feel that little bit lighter. When it comes to fit and comfort, I think personal preference is going to play a huge role in terms of which one you personally are going to like the fit and feel of more. However, when it just comes to general comfort, I think it's really difficult to separate the two. The leather on both boots is super soft. The synthetics used where there isn't leather feels really good on both boots as well. The nice deep central lacing systems that both of them have allow for plenty of adjustability. I will admit I prefer the fit and general padded sensation of the heel on the Tiempo compared to the Copas, but that's not to say that these are uncomfortable. I also prefer the feel of the sole plate underfoot on the Tiempos versus the Copas, but again, it is a minor difference between the two when it really comes down to it. From a width perspective, there's definitely a little bit more width and a little bit more volume out of the box with the Tiempos compared to the Copas, but again, being that they're both made from soft leather uppers, you're going to get that stretch and adjustability once the boots are broken in after a little bit of wear time. So in terms of width, both of these boots should be suitable for most foot types, and as far as sizing is concerned, both of them are in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So whether you're going for the Tiempos or the Copas, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, when it comes to comparing both of these football boots, I really feel like your own personal preference based on the feel of the upper is how you should go about choosing between Nike and Adidas when it comes to their leather football boot offerings. If you prefer a thinner upper with more of a barefoot feel on the ball, less protection, and arguably a slightly tighter, more speed boot-esque wrap, then it's a no-brainer, go for the Copa Pure.1. Where if you're looking for a slightly more traditional feel from your leather football boots, in that you want the feel of padded leather and you want that little bit of extra protection that so many modern football boots don't seem to have, and an overall package that is surprisingly lightweight, then I think the Tiempo would be the no-brainer choice. And for those that care about my own personal preferences, given that I am more partial towards uppers that have a little bit more of a padded feel, I would pick the Tiempos over the Pure.1. However, it must be said that the Pure is a gigantic improvement over the Sense.1 from the last 2 years. Those are football boots that quite honestly just weren't worth any amount of money at all. This time they have something truly competitive. It's just a matter of picking based on your own personal preferences. So I'll leave it to you down below in the comment section. Which one would you pick? Because there's no bad choice here.